Hey guys, uh, today it's Tuesday, the 30th after Memorial Day yesterday. I hope you all had a good Memorial Day. We had a lot of visitors here on the island, which kind of led me to think about a blog uh, that I've got and that has been discussed not only by me but by criminologists everywhere. And that's sort of the theme being what crimes increase in summer and, some reasons why. And as you can read, many of the reasons why are hotter temperatures. People tend to become more irritable, apparently, when it's hot outside. Alcohol, because people drink more during the summer, parties, those types of things on the weekend. It's just a number of factors if you look at the data nationwide. But, something that is unique to Galveston, since we're an island and a tourist destination, is for us, it's also a matter of population increase. If y'all watched my video last weekend or after last weekend, it was about Jeep weekend, which had huge numbers of arrests for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For Galveston County, we had 397 total. Okay, that's in one weekend, which is a very high number. If this past weekend, Memorial Weekend, now since Monday was the holiday, I included Monday, and so from Friday to Monday, we had 270 arrests. So the daily numbers were not huge. Friday we had 64, Saturday we had 81, Sunday we had 77, and then yesterday we had 48. Now, just to give you sort of an idea, the weekend before the Go Topless, the Jeep weekend, was 512, 513, and 514. So there was nothing significant about that weekend. For that 3-day total, we only had 148 arrests. So it's becoming pretty clear that as we get huge amounts of tourists over holiday weekends, it leads to an increase in arrests. And it's part of all the same reasons, I suspect, which is going to be alcohol, people partying all day, people spending too much time together, getting in fights, just the normal stuff you would see during the summer, but our numbers are going to be bigger in the summer because we have so many tourists that come to the island during that time. And so what it amounts to is just that, more arrests. There was this weekend a motorcycle fatality, but as I looked through these, there were not a whole lot of what I would call violent crimes. There were a lot of assaultive cases, a lot of alcohol cases, like driving while intoxicated. There were some things that you see every weekend. I didn't see a lot that stands out. I mean, here was two people for racing. There was an aggravated robbery. Depending upon those circumstances, that may or may not have had anything to do with tourism. But, a whole lot of arrests for public intoxication, just the minor things we see here on a holiday weekend due to the influx of people and alcohol. Looking, yeah, there's just not much of a whole lot of serious violent crime this weekend. There were a couple of drug arrests, plenty of DWI cases, criminal mischief, accident involving injury, criminal trespass. You know, we did have an arrest for murder. It's doubtful that that was related to tourism, although I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing that stands out as particularly violent or numbers any different than any other time here on the island or in the county. It's just, like I said, the big difference is when we have huge weekends of tourists, our incidents of arrest go up. And so I obviously don't know about the rest of the country and what the criminologists that study this have, taken into account in other places. But clearly, I think anywhere you have a tourist destination, that during the high season, you are going to see a higher crime rate, but it's not, in addition to whatever societal factors it's also going to be when you've got the population increased by 50,000 plus over a holiday weekend. It's not attributed to any local factors other than an increase, a huge increase in population. So that's just something to take into consideration when you're talking about what crimes, or does crime increase during the summer in Galveston. The answer is sort of yes, but it's a skewed number because you'd have to pick out of all the data how many of those are locals and how many of those are people that are here from somewhere else that were here on vacation or whatever for the weekend. So that's all I got this week. Hopefully you'll have a good rest of your week, and I'll see y'all next Tuesday.